What's going on, everyone? DarkSynth here, and today NRS finally released what they are doing for year 2, and it is going to be called The Reign of Chaos. And it seems like in the story, leaving off from the ending of the original MK1 story, Havoc ended up taking control, or he's some kind of like super Havoc. He's not the original Havoc. He's like buffed, essentially. But then they introduced the new characters, and as you can see, we got Sektor and Cyrax, and you might see a little change about them. And yes, it looked like they gender swapped Cyrax and Sektor. I saw a tweet, someone was like, they probably noticed that they're having an all male combat pack again, and then they just decided to gender swap Cyrax and Sektor. But again, it is a new timeline, so things can change up just for the sake of the timeline too. But I do agree, there should have been more female characters. But nonetheless, we got Noob Saibot, Cyrax, Sektor, and then for the guest characters, we ended up getting T1000, Conan, and Ghostface. So if you're a fan of any of those characters, all of this will be released on September 24th. I don't know if they're going to release the characters over time like they did with Combat Pack 1, or if all of this is just coming out on the 4th. Right now you can pre-order it on PlayStation 5. Right now I noticed you can't really get it on Steam at the moment, so PC players are going to have to wait. If you're holding off on getting this on PC, honestly, it runs a lot better now, since they did a lot of performance updates over the year of the game being out. The game hasn't been quite out a year. September will be the month of the anniversary of this game, which is the release date of this. The story expansion, the characters, and yeah. I'm super excited for Noob. He's like my all-time favorite Mortal Kombat character. And also, as you're about to see, not only are we getting 6 characters, but we're also getting an update for the new finishers. They are bringing back Animalities, and they teased this in the conference room at San Diego Comic-Con by showing off Rain. His Animalities a pufferfish, but as you can see here in a minute, they will show off the Animalities. But yeah, I think it's really sick that they're bringing these back, because UMK3 is probably everyone's all-time favorite Mortal Kombat game. It's one of my favorites, even though I think Mortal Kombat 2 is the goated one, but Ed even talked about bringing back the old finishers that they haven't really gone over in the past NRS games. And so that kind of led to people saying, oh, Animalities are coming back. And lo and behold, here are Animalities. And as you can see, Melina just turned into a praying mantis. Now she's eating Kung Lao. This is just ridiculous, but sick. I was always wondering how they were going to pull this off. Like, how would the characters like transform into the animals? And they did a really good job how they just like morph into the character or animals. And I'm super excited for this update for the combat pack. And one thing I noticed too during the Cyrax, Sektor, and Noob gameplay was there were no cameos. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about, was there are no cameos coming up in this DLC. Like, 0. I don't think they are bringing any. And that's leading me to believe if they're going to bring a 1v1 game mode, because that is something I've always wanted, and I know the community, like from casuals to higher level players, everyone in between says they're not really a fan of the cameo system, and I kind of agree. The cameo system wasn't really pulled off very well from NRS, but honestly, to say MK1 is a bad game is just outright silly. Mortal Kombat 1 is not a bad game. It just has a mechanic people don't like, and they would rather just not play it or complain and continue to play it, which, you know, just doesn't make any sense. I've always said NRS needs to return to their roots with the 1v1 aspect, because that's where their games shined, honestly. Like MK9, Injustice 1, Injustice 2, MKX. I feel like those were all peak era of NRS, and I really need them to return to that, because honestly MK1 just isn't that enjoyable, but it's not a bad game is what I'm trying to say. It's a good game, but like I said, people would rather complain and or just not play it, and or complain and play it, which again, like, come on, move on. But yeah, another thing is a lot of people are upset about the guest characters, which is completely fine. Like, I understand. But if you look at NRS's history with guest characters, they kind of like the 80s, 90s action and horror movies. And that's definitely seeable by Freddy Krueger, as he was the first horror character that came to an NRS game, which was an MK9, which was NRS's first MK game. So, honestly, I like the characters. I think it's cool. Could they have maybe had a little bit of a better lineup? Of course. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is hype. This is what Mortal Kombat's all about. And so, I'm excited. To each their own. But this is it for the video. If you enjoyed me rambling, consider leaving a like and subscribe for more possible MK content down the road. This is Dark Sense signing out, and I hope you take care.